are, we'll start with the face. This is her forehead in here, her eyes, and it's important for a riding horse or any kind of horse. It's very attractive if they have wide set eyes, very feminine like hers. This is her muzzle here, this is the top of her lip and her lower lip. This is her jaw, her ears and her poll. Her poll's right here, her crest is right here. It's important that they don't get too cresty. Sometimes a horse's crest will come up like this, and that means that they're like getting fed too much. It's just a really undesirable trait. It's not good to look at either. This is her neck, and it goes into her shoulder, and it's supposed to be nice and smooth. Her chest, her forearm, her knee, cannon bone, pastern, cornet band, and hoof. Her neck goes into her wither, very nice and smoothly. This is the point of her wither, this is her wither. Her back, her loin, and her hips, right here, and her rump. This is her tail head, or her tail, and her gaskin muscle, her hock, cannon bone, pastern, and hoof, and cornet band. This is her flank, and this is her stifle. This is her abdomen, and it's important for riding horses to have a well-sprung rib so that they can get a lot of oxygen and be able to breathe easily. If their ribs are really tight and compact, they don't have a lot of endurance. Okay, this is the croup in here, point of the hip. This is her barrel. Right in here is her heart girth, and it's important in a riding horse that they don't have a tight heart girth because that could restrict their breathing and would affect their endurance. So she has a very good heart girth. It's not too tight at all. And this is her throat latch in here. Okay, I would place this bay horse over this chestnut horse because the bay horse, first of all, is very easy on the eyes. She's an eye catcher right away. She is very well balanced, uniform horse. She's just very smooth throughout, an attractive feminine mare. It doesn't riding horse. She has a shorter back than this horse here, so which means that she'll have a stronger top line and it can be a smoother ride and will travel more correctly. She has a better sloping shoulder than this horse here. Its shoulder's a little steep, which means that it can be a rougher ride. She has a lot more natural muscle pattern. You can see she bulges in here, and especially in her gaskin. Whereas this horse is kind of just smooth, and you don't want that. You want like the natural bulgy muscling. This horse also stands very square underneath herself. And when a horse stands square naturally, that means that it's well balanced. And that's a good indication that the horse has good conformation. So a horse's legs should stand squarely from the point of the shoulders straight down, and same from the point of the hips straight back. This horse is base narrow because when you look at the point of the shoulder and draw a line straight down, her feet fall in between, so which means that she's base narrow. She's also a little toed out on the front. When you look at her straight on, her toes stand a little out. And she's a little cowpoxed on the back. You can see that this horse stands with its hocks facing each other and the hooves are pointed outwards compared to this horse. She stands square underneath itself. You can draw a line right from here down, straight down. Whereas this horse, you draw a line straight from here and her hocks are in and her feet are pointed outwards. That's undesirable. It means that her legs are weaker. Like you can see from behind that she carries her muscle straight down into her hocks, which makes them very powerful stopping and going and turning. Whereas this horse has quite a thick butt, but it doesn't have like any true muscle to it or muscle pattern. So it's thicker, but it falls short in this area. It's not very thick. Now from their side profiles, you can see the sloping shoulder of this mare better than the sloping shoulder on that mare. It's a lot more desirable and correct. Their top line, this mare has a lot stronger of a top line because her back is shorter and she has a nicer place set with her that flows nicely from her neck into her back. You can see here there's no like stop, it's very smooth. And whereas this mare, she's a little choppy coming into here and her back's a lot longer. So that means that her back is not as strong and she might not travel as nicely or correctly. This mare also doesn't have as much volume through in here as this mare does. And you can see very easily that this mare has a lot of muscle pattern, which is very desirable. Also about the necks, you can see how this mare's neck is set lower, which is very, very good trait. That means that she could be a lot more calmer of a horse and that she'll travel a lot easier and more relaxed. She doesn't have a bulging muscle in here like this mare does here. You can see that her neck bulges here. It's called a gooseneck. And that's undesirable because it shows that she's often alert. And so she built up muscle here. And you don't really want an alert riding horse with its head up because that also makes its back sway. And so it will weaken its back and it will travel a lot rougher when its head's up like this. And you can see that hers is often up because she has this built up muscle here. Her head's a little longer in comparison to this horse, and the shorter, more feminine head is a lot more desirable. You can see her head's a lot shorter. Also on this mare, her tail set is higher, and when she walks, which when we're looking at after, you'll notice that she likes to travel with her tail up like that, which is also undesirable because it shows that she is a little more high-strung and travels, like it's the same idea with her neck, that they're often alert and looking around and maybe like on edge. Whereas this mare's tail is a low-set tail and you can tell that she's just relaxed. And when a horse's head and tail is up, it shows that they are not relaxed, and that's not what you want in a riding horse. You want a nice, pleasurable ride in a riding horse. When you're looking at a riding horse, when they're traveling, you want a horse that travels straight and the feet fall one right after another in a straight line. You just watch their feet track and you will see that her feet fall one right after another in a straight line. There's no winging or paddling. Her feet aren't going out when she walks, or they're not coming in when she walks. No. She's not clipping her feet when she walks, so she's not overreaching and she's not underreaching. You'll know if they're overreaching if you hear them clicking their feet together, their back feet with their front feet. And you watch when she walks forward you that her knees and her feet are falling straight, and same with her back feet. Watch their hooves and make sure that they're not turning in the sand, like that the feet doesn't place and then turn. You can trot her away now. And then you watch them trot. You watch their foot placement and make sure it's straight in line. You watch and make sure that there's no lameness issues and that they look like a smooth, easy ride. And same as when they're trotting toward you. You watch their foot placement, watch how they travel, see if there's any problems, lameness issues, and their smoothness of gait. This mare traveled was a good example of a nice traveling riding horse. So I think that she's almost ideal for what you'll be looking for in foot placement and traveling of a riding horse. Now when I'm watching this mare travel, I see that her back legs are almost hitting each other. She's stepping close because she's a little cowhawk, so the insides of her hooves are almost hitting. And her front feet I see are placing outwards, like she's paddling out a bit. And same as she's walking forward, you can see that she's toed out. And you want to make sure to watch for stuff like that, their foot placement, because that could indicate future lameness issues. You can trot. When she trots, you can see she's a little choppier of a ride and her head goes up, which causes her back to sway, which means that she's going to be a little bouncier and not as comfy. As well as when she trots, she's toed out. So for those reasons, that's another reason why the bay mare would get placed over this mare, is because this mare's a little choppier going, her head is raised, and her toes are placed outwards, and her hocks are cow hocks, as well as her tail set is too high. For those reasons, I would place this mare over that mare.
She just wants to get away from you.
I trotted my number 2 horse just to make sure that all the viewers can see that her foot placement is off. She's toed out and cow hocked when she travels, and that her head goes up and her tail set is high. All very undesirable traits in a riding horse. Okay, so in a judging class you have 20 minutes, and you walk up to these horses and you have 20 minutes to decide who's first, who through fourth, which isn't very much time. That's including the trotting time. The first thing you want to look at is overall appearance. Which horse down the line do you think is the most attractive? And I picked this mare. She caught my eye. Then I look at her and I analyze everything about her. Why should she be first place? I look at their overall smoothness and proportion of body, the strength in the legs and correctness of the legs, and the top line, and the attractiveness of the head, and characteristics that would show me that she's a pleasant riding horse, like a lower tail set and a lower head set, and no muscling under. And I'd look for soundness, definitely in a riding horse. Make sure that they're sound, they travel true, that they have good, strong feet like this mare, no cracks or blemishes.